Good morning. In the previous lectures, we have seen graphs, the characteristics of graphs, the various kinds of graphs, and also a few of the properties of graphs like isomorphism and chromatic numbers. Now, in this lecture, which is the last topic of Unit 5, and it will conclude your syllabus, is graph theory and applications. So, basically, what are the applications of graph theory? Where is it used in real life and in computer science? So, here graph theory is basically an important aspect of computer science, and it is used in various fields in various fields and various subjects. So for now, graph theory is basically the ideas and concepts of graph theory are used in various branches of not only computer science but also different sciences, and it is also used in our day-to-day life. The best example will be Google Maps, where you want to go from point A to point B, and it creates a shortest path. It creates a path based on a few features like the shortest path, or the shortest time taken, or even the distance, minimal distance, with respect to traffic and various diversions. So here, let's see a few examples of applications of graph theory. Graph theory concepts are used to develop various algorithms. So basically, when you study in your later years, the subject design and analysis of algorithms, in that subject you will study a few of these algorithms. We have studied minimum spanning tree, that is Prim's and Kruskal's algorithm, in the earlier lecture, and apart from that we have seen planar graphs. So graph planarity, shortest path algorithm, minimum spanning tree, and in networks, transportation network, that is the best example is Google Maps. Communication network, that is if you want to create a data center and if you want to install communication lines between two companies or between two cities, then you create a graph where the vertices are your cities and the edges are the links between those cities. And in social network, you create a graph. Suppose if there is a group of friends who form a group, then we can create a graph with respect to that in such a way that all the different friends are denoted by the vertices, and those who are friends to each other can be denoted by the edges. So these are few of the applications of graph. Next we have, that is, graphs are used to define the flow of computation. Suppose if you are taking a flow chart, then even a flow chart can be denoted by a graph to denote how we compute, from where do we start and where do we end. So each of those, in a flow chart, you have those start, stop, a dialog box to check whether it is a decision. So all of those can be denoted by vertices, and the flow of the graph can be denoted by an edge. That is, you can have a directed graph to define the flow of the computation. Apart from that, we have graphs to represent network of communication. As I said earlier, we can create communication lines between two places or two spots in such a way that they are connected, and we have a line which we have a second line also, in order, that is a kind of multi-graph, that is between two points we have multiple edges. The next is, graphs are used to represent data organization. Graphs transformation system works on rule based in memory manipulation of graphs. Graph databases ensure transaction safe, persistent storing and querying of graph structured data. So even in databases, we can create graph databases. So here it ensures that the transactions are safe and the storing is persistent, and also if we want to find something, querying is easier for graph structured data. Now apart from that, in operating systems, we come across the resource allocation graph. This is a subject which you will study later. In this operating system subject, we actually study something known as resource allocation graph. Suppose if you have three programs, program 1, program 2 and program 3, and these three programs want to have the resources. So the resource as in a mouse or a keyboard or some input device. So in this case, we have two resources R1 and R2. Now, suppose all the three programs want the resource R1. Okay, so P1, P2, P3 wants the resource R1, and resource R2 is required by P2 and P3. So we should be able to give the resource in such a way that each resource should be given to a program. Also, we should make sure that once the resource is given, after some allotted time, the resource should be taken. Otherwise, what will happen is program 1 will have the resource for itself, and suppose there is an issue or a problem with program 1, then the program 2 and program 3 will be stuck and it will create a deadlock. Deadlock is basically when the resources are being shared and only one program or one problem has taken the resource and it is not passing it to the other programs. So in operating system, we come across this resource allocation graph. So this kind of strategy. So this is generally a basic idea. So resource allocation graph where each process and resources are considered to be vertices. So this P1, P2, P3 and R1 and R2 are vertices. And if I am giving the resource R1 to P1, we can draw an edge between them. Edges are drawn from resource to the allocated process or from requesting process to the requested resource. So R1 is being given to P1 while P2 and P3 are requesting the resource. So basically this kind of graph is known as a resource allocation graph. And if this leads to any formation of a cycle, suppose program 2 requires resource 1 and also it requires inputs from program 1, then what will happen is once the program 1 leaves the resource and program 1 needs to give input to the program 2, if this entire cycle does not occur in an orderly manner or in a step-by-step manner, deadlock will occur. That is, program 2 requires two things. One is the resource 1 and the other is the input from program 1. So if it gives input but it is not giving the resource, or else if it is giving the resource and it is not giving the input to program 2, then program 2 will not be able to execute. So this kind of occurrence is known as deadlock, and to solve these occurrences, we create a resource allocation graph to keep track of which process has which resources and how can we allocate resources to the process such that deadlock does not occur. Now, applications in real world. So Google Maps, the main example as I have said is Google Maps. Google Maps use graphs for building transportation system where intersection of two or more roads are considered to be a vertex and the road connecting two vertices is considered to be an edge. The navigation system that we use in Google Maps is based on the algorithm to calculate the shortest path between two vertices. So whenever you put your location in 2 and wherever you want to go, the destination, the source and the destination, in that case, what will happen is you are able to create a navigation system, and that navigation system is generally based on the optimal path, which is the shortest path. So if you want to go anywhere, then always you look either for the shortest path or the path which is taking the shortest time if there is traffic on a given path. So this kind of implementation is done by graphs to find the navigation system. Also, one more thing is the vertices and edges are created in such a way that if you are using a Google map, then you will be able to see that it is always the Google Maps always make sure to give the optimal results. So for such kind of problems, we use graphs. In Facebook, so another application, real world application of graphs is Facebook. Users are considered to be the vertices, and if they are friends, then there is an edge running between them. So if there are a lot of, suppose if we have n number of people, so we have n edges. Okay, and then over here we have, if 1 and 4, the vertex 1 and vertex 4 are friends, then there is an edge connecting them. And if 3 and 2 are friends, there is an edge connecting them. And then finally, if 4 and 3 are friends, here we have an edge. So what will happen is 4 is friends to 3, 3 is friends to 2. Now in this case, the Facebook friend suggestion algorithm, what it does is it uses this graph theory, and it sees that since 3 is a friend to 4, it will try to give you a suggestion that please be a friend of 3, or it will suggest in the suggested friends column, it will suggest 3 as a friend. Why is it so? Because you have a common friend in between you. So this is an example of undirected graph. So Google Maps was an example of directed graph. Facebook's friend suggestion algorithm is an example of undirected graph. So it does not see whether 4 is a friend of 1 or 1 is a friend of 4. What it does is it makes sure that if two people are connected by the edge, then it will try to make sure that the other edge should be, it tries to make sure that there should be as many possible edges from one person to different vertices. So this is an example of undirected graph. Now another example is the World Wide Web, or to make it a better example, we can take the Wikipedia pages. So Wikipedia pages in World Wide Web, also web pages, since you don't really have an idea right now about the web pages and the HTML. So for now, we will consider the Wikipedia pages. So if you open a Wikipedia link, suppose for the country India, in this case, you will have the links or hyperlinks for the capital of India, the governing system of India, whether it is democratic. So you will be given hyperlinks for the same. Now here, let's consider this individual Wikipedia pages as vertices. And in this case, if you have this word in the Wikipedia page of India, then there is an edge between them. So this way, the Wikipedia also uses a kind of graph theory, the concept of graph theory, where each of the Wikipedia page is a vertex, and if that page is mentioned in some other page, then we create a link between them, that is, we create an edge. So in World Wide Web, web pages are considered to be the vertices, and there is an edge from page U to page V if there is a link of page V on page U. So this is an example of directed graph. So here, if we have an edge from India, that is, if Delhi is mentioned in the Wikipedia page of India, so we create a directed edge from India to Delhi. And if in the Wikipedia page of Delhi we have India mentioned, we create an edge in the other direction. That is, we create a multi-graph. So this kind of graph theory is also used in the case of World Wide Web. That is, different HTML pages are created and we create a link between them. So this is the basic idea behind Google page ranking algorithm. This is an exercise for you. Just look into the Google page ranking algorithm. Now, after that, so this concludes the applications in real world. You can find a few more applications by yourself, and also the applications of graph theory. Graph theory is a subject by itself, and here we have seen a small snippet of this topic, and this concludes your syllabus for MFIT.